So, what would push someone to spend literally thousands of hours chasing a goal in a video game that most players will never, ever see? Today, we're diving deep into the final frontier of RuneScape, a place where dedication starts to look a whole lot like obsession. And the game, well, it becomes something else entirely. 200 million. Just look at that number. This isn't just a high score, it's the absolute maximum amount of experience points a player can get in a single skill in RuneScape. For almost everyone, this number is a total myth. It's like a digital Mount Everest that seems completely impossible to climb. It's not really a goal, it's more like a hard-coded limit at the very edge of the game's universe. And yeah, that brings us right to the huge central question of this whole thing. Why? Why would you do it? Why pour thousands of hours, a pretty significant chunk of your actual life, into chasing a number that, let's be honest, most people would call completely irrational? This isn't just about having fun anymore. This is about obsession as its own kind of quest. To really get it, first we're going to try to size up this digital Everest they're all trying to climb. Then we'll go down the two main paths of obsession, the absolutely grueling XP grind and the high-stakes lottery of hunting for super rare items. We'll even see how this all connects to a way bigger trend across all online games, before we finally land on an answer to that one big question. Why on earth do they do it? Okay, so let's really try and wrap our heads around what 200 million experience points actually feels like. Because just saying it's a lot, man, that is a massive, massive understatement. Well, the first path is the pure experience grind. And you gotta understand, it's less of a game at this point and more of a psychological marathon, a descent into a very, very specific kind of obsession. Apparently, this journey happens in 4 pretty distinct phases. First, you're the hopeful sprinter. You know, you've hit the max virtual level, you feel great, this whole thing just feels like a fun victory lap. But then you become the automaton. A kind of numbness just sets in. The game isn't really being played anymore, it's just a process running in the background of your life. After that, you enter the Voidwalker phase. You're so close that quitting is just unthinkable, but continuing is pure agony. And then finally, you hit the final million, which is just this surreal, frantic dash to an end that feels like it's taken a lifetime to reach. This quote from a player, man, it just perfectly captures that automaton phase. The game is totally stripped of all its fantasy and fun. It just becomes pure data, pure efficiency, a spreadsheet with polygons. You're not a player anymore. You're more like an engine that's just designed to make a number go up. And it's a process that really tests the absolute limits of your willpower. But you know, grinding XP isn't the only path to the top. The other one is a total high-stakes gamble, hunting for ultra-rare items from the game's toughest bosses. And this isn't a battle of endurance. This is a war against RNG, the game's random number generator. It's a fight against pure, uncontrollable luck. You can see the appeal, right? It's the absolute peak of gameplay. You can make incredible amounts of in-game wealth, and you get the ultimate status symbols. But the cost is just as high. You're literally fighting a random number generator, you need the best gear and stats just to get in the door, and you're constantly haunted by the risk of total burnout from the dreaded dry streak. So yeah, here's the crucial point. While it takes immense skill to even fight these bosses in the first place, the hunt for one specific rare item, it eventually just becomes a slot machine. The cost isn't money, it's your time, your supplies, and your sanity with every single pull of that lever. Let's just define that term dry streak, because it's so key to understanding the suffering here. It's when you go hundreds, sometimes even thousands of kills past the statistical average for an item to drop. So imagine being told you have a 1 in 500 chance, and you're now on kill number 2000 with absolutely nothing to show for it. It's a uniquely soul-crushing experience that really defines this whole pursuit. Now, you might be thinking this is all just some bizarre, niche behavior that's exclusive to this one game. But what's so fascinating is that this whole style of long-term, low-intensity gameplay is actually part of a much larger trend in the world of online games. This whole away-from-keyboard or AFK style of play isn't unique to RuneScape at all. In a game like Black Desert Online, it's a critical part of the entire economy. In the universe of EVE Online, your core skills only train over real-world time, whether you're logged in or not. Different games, same core principle. So here's the big takeaway. This isn't an accident. This seemingly strange behavior is something the multi-billion-dollar gaming industry is actively designing for. They are catering to our desire for constant, tiny, incremental progress, even when we're not really playing. It's a powerful and intentional hook designed to keep players logged in and invested, to boost those daily active user counts and ensure we stick around for the long haul. Okay, so let's bring all of these different threads together and finally tackle that central question. With the massive psychological toll and the just unbelievable scale of the time commitment, what's the ultimate motivation? Really, why do it? The answer is that the rewards are not about fun, not in the way we usually think about it. It's about status, owning something that almost no one else has. It's about earning respect in a very specific community. It's about creating immense digital wealth, and for some, it's about turning the game into this structured, almost meditative ritual. But more than anything, it's about the profound satisfaction of conquering a challenge that you set for yourself. In the end, that's really what this is. Players aren't just chasing a number on a screen. They are building a personal monument to their own dedication. They are climbing an Everest that they themselves constructed, not out of rock and ice, but out of trillions and trillions of pixels. And this is the trade-off, summed up perfectly. It's a pact, a conscious decision to trade an unbelievable amount of your time and your mental fortitude for a digital trophy, for a permanent spot on a leaderboard that says, I was here and I did this. And that leaves us with a final thought, a question I want to turn back to you. Whether it's in a game or your career or a hobby, we all set goals for ourselves, right? But looking at this extreme example of dedication, it kind of makes you wonder, what kind of monumental pursuits do you find meaning in, and what are you willing to trade to conquer them?